Protec was founded originally by the South African Institute of Civil Engineers. A young engineer with the name of Cliff McMillan was elected onto the council of the institute, and he raised this question of why it was that we had hardly any non-white professional people, engineers. So they threw the question back at him and said, well, he better find out. And he very soon came to the conclusion, reported that the reason was in the education system. That was impossible. And he then structured this initiative to assist promising kids in the townships with their maths and science.
My name is David Kramer. I first became involved with Protec in 1984. It was a very small organization at that point. It had graduated from working in someone's garage to working in someone's house, and that's where I started work with it. When we first invented the name Protec, the Program for Technological Careers, the intention was simply to find young African learners who had potential and to try and convince them to become engineers, hence the engineering careers part of Protec. From about 1985 onwards, I think it expanded, because what we recognized that simply wanting to become an engineer isn't really good enough. There's a lot that has to happen before one's qualified to become an engineer. So it expanded rapidly into the area of education, particularly in mathematics and science. And the success of the program in the early years led to a very rapid increase in demand from other career industries. So we started finding that we were being requested by the rest of industry, the non-engineering component of industry, to start looking for and developing talent in the townships in other areas besides engineering.
We convened a meeting at the University of Pretoria, and there we got the people together and decided to go. Now the idea was to get a branch going in Mamelodi, but there were a few people sitting in the front row which we did not know about who they were, and they said they heard about this meeting and they are from Atteridgeville. And they insist that Atteridgeville also be included in this exercise.
You know, Protec branches were not started because we wanted to start them. They were demand driven. The parents would see, let's say, a program running well, kids passing in Atteridgeville, and the parents in Mamelodi would say, we want the same program. And then we would come and put everything in, look for a funder and put everything in place.
Patco sponsored, provided transport for us free of charge. Every Saturday morning, 2 bus loads of kids came from Atteridgeville over to Mamelodi. And we started this Saturday school.
And you could tell straight away the difference between what would be a Protec student and what would be an ordinary student from the township. I mean, we had access to, you know, if I think back in the day about some of the Protec programs that we went through, we had, in our conventional schools, you would be taught science, maths, and other subjects by teachers who are qualified, of course, in those subjects. But the difference with Protec was that if you took science with Protec, you would be taught by a scientist. If you took mathematics, you'd be taught by a mathematician. And these were things that they did as careers in their lives. These were specialists in those areas. And this is where the edge was for Protec, really.
Very soon it also grew into holiday schools, holiday camps. And in later years, about during the 90s, in a strategic revision of our approach, we then started focusing also on teacher empowerment, on skilling teachers into the system.
What is interesting is that Protec's focus has remained the same, and acknowledging that though it was established 30 years ago, the challenges which were faced in terms of shortages of skilled people in math, science and technology still remains the same today, though huge contribution has been done by Protec as a strong player in this space. It continues to be very critical for Protec to continue to do what it is doing today because the need is still there. Over the 30 years, we can count in numbers those black people who have entered the sector, engineering sector, as a result of the intervention from Protec, that it has done and worked with the Department of Education, and it has worked with big business in the country.
Protec is today present in almost all the provinces in the country. I think we span across about 12 branches to date across the country. So in terms of reach, Protec has really had quite a big success in terms of getting to different provinces. Keeping in mind that there's two models to Protec today as part of the changes that has come up over the years. The one being that there is a Saturday school model, which is the traditional model that Protec always had. That model does not exist in all the branches. It exists in most of them. The second model, which is the outreach to schools model, that one exists in almost all the branches.
NGOs come in different shapes. Sometimes NGOs are just ruled by the heart and, the intention to do good. But ours had a very hard-nosed approach to what we did. The question of what is your competitive edge was paramount. And we sometimes came out of board meetings really almost in tears because that question was not satisfactorily answered. First of all, we had to ensure that our programs stood up to, for example, international evaluation.
We engaged with Protec in '95 because we had a need to develop children from our communities with maths and science and English skills to be able to be recruited by our mills, and also to be able to join the workforce, and then maybe at a later stage, having worked for other companies, to come back to SAPI. As true as that was in '95, so true that is today. And we have now had thousands of students pass through our Protec branches, and it has, we believe, with the research we've also done, it has had a tremendously positive impact on the communities themselves, on the children, on providing opportunities. And for us, it's not really about whether all those children come back and work for SAPI. It is about that they've had the opportunity to get a maths and science education and join the workforce and go and add value to the country in various other fields.
A lot of NGOs died in 1994 when the government came in. And unless you really had a compelling program, you couldn't succeed. One thing that has really kept the program going is the faith that people had, parents had in Protec.
Protec had good days and had less good days. I can remember the day when we had to consider closing down the Mamelodi branch, and we were without a branch manager.
Something that also made a very huge impression was when I was forced to go and close the Mamelodi branch. Gosh, I was almost torn apart by the parents, because one mother one woman stood up to say, my son, I had 3 sons, 2 of them passed through because of Protec. And now this one is in the middle of a program. You want to close this will be over my dead body.
And one of the final year students with the name of Steve Clutling came to us and said, no guys, we are not going to close this. You will take over as manager of the branch.
And when I had people fight for Protec, that was difficult, but at the same time extremely fulfilling.
And I decided that I was going to do what I could to actually save the branch. And what happened was I came back while I was still in school, still studying, and I decided I was going to become a branch manager, take over the reins and make sure that we carry the branch through. I had a lot of support behind me. I had the whole community supporting me, and we felt very passionate that we would have to do what we could to try and save the branch. I had meetings with funders, I had meetings with the board at the time. You can imagine, a young man that's actually in tertiary engaging on such big issues.
Protec should continue to treasure the branches that are out there, that are deep-rooted in the communities, that are delivering programs of quality to the communities. It is through these branches that Protec is well known. It is through these branches that Protec is touching lives in all corners of the country. And Protec must continue to partner with big business to open new branches in areas where Protec has not existed before.
When we look to the future of Protec, I think that while it needs to understand and engage with new systems of learning, maybe with the digital era coming up, everyone's talking about distance learning or so on. For us, what we've seen the true value is the personal contact with students. And we would say that wherever Protec goes in the future, that element of success which it has been able to build, which is direct personal contact with students to enthuse them on an ongoing basis, direct personal contact with teachers to enthuse them, cannot be replaced by distance learning or distance education. That might help bring substance to the classrooms, it might help give the teachers a bit more material, but the reality is, as we're trying to build a new maths and science groundswell of students and of capacity in South Africa, the thing that we believe Protec will take forward as its unique selling proposition is that personal contact.
The effects of apartheid are immense, and they are still perpetuating even up to today. And it is important that we must not give up, we must soldier on. We must continue to reach out to children in poor communities and tap into the talent that is out there that the country needs so much. So it is for that reason that I believe that Protec remains to be relevant today as it was 30 years ago.
Literally thousands and thousands of young people with potential were able to turn that potential into success. These days it's a slightly different kind of competition. It's not that one is denied the opportunities. I think at the moment we have many more young people to assist because the education system is still not where we would like to see it 10 years after democracy. So we still have a lot of work to do. But I suppose what is special about Protec now, I think back, is that these young people didn't just get presented with opportunities to make something of themselves. They were also given an opportunity to be part of a community. And what strikes me most about many of of Protec's graduates is that they've maintained communication within that network. They've remained friends. They're in a sense a network that can support each other long after they've severed communications and contact with the organization. And for me that is quite unique and special.
It really touches your life, and it's something that you just stays with you for years. And I think it's profound that we have an organization like Protec. And I'm happy to see that Protec is now 30 years old, a little bit younger than me, but it was almost around the same age when I was born. So yeah, congratulations to Protec and all the best for the next 30 years.
Already. Hi, my name is Deborah Lariba. I would like to say a happy birthday for Protec. You've been there for us all along and God bless you. Thank you.
Dumelang, lebitso la ka ke Sithe Kipule. Happy birthday to you, Protec. Re go eleletsa masego le matlhogonolo. O gole, o gogobe, ra leboga.
Hello, my name is Andrew Peterson, and I just want to say happy birthday, Protec. Continue to soar like an eagle in the education field. You made a great difference, and with you, the future is very bright. God bless.
Nosongorado Reali who are Protec. Happy birthday to you.